Hey, Honey Wash Day. This is Toksa Hour. I'm Maggie Ross, and I am live from Porcupine, South Dakota, along the Porcupine Creek where the porcupines roam. Oh, goodness. I was having a little bit of trouble trying not to look. My glasses are just somehow, somehow my glasses. Anyways, couldn't find my keffiyeh. I don't know what I did with it. So looking all over for my keffiyeh. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I left it at at work again. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm here without my keffiyeh, feeling a little beside myself. I hope you guys are all well. It's been it's been a pretty busy week for me, trying to get things done. The end of the summer usually means the end of the summer you're going back to school, but in my new position, it now means I have to hurry up and get things done that I've been working on. So that's been like my thing is trying to get that all done. Anyways, today our agenda. So I wanted to like cover I thought about covering four important topics, kind of excuse me, five, I think it is, five topics. And they're all, to me, all interconnected, um, to survival, sovereignty, and the dignity of human rights. Like we don't, there's so many things going on. And there's such, and this is globally, like you see it globally happening where people are losing their rights under this government. And if you can remember, like last week, I talked about the interview with Tucker Carlson and Catherine Austin Fitts. And I had spent some time this week uh, listening to other interviews she's done, um, to and it's really interesting. Like if you haven't done it, I highly encourage you to go and Google her, YouTube search her, TikTok search her. I don't know if she's on Facebook because I'm not on Facebook anymore. I don't know if she's on Twitter because I'm not on Twitter. But anyways, search her because there's so much information. I mean, not only is she talking about this disappearance of $27 trillion from the American taxpayers, but she spreads that out like there's what since 1994, 95, they started this process to create a well, almost like a global central banking thing where and then moving us into digital currency. So digital currency was on the map to or this week. They voted on cryptocurrency. And then it's real interesting because Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out against it. And she is saying exactly what Catherine Fitt is saying is that moving to digital currency actually moves us more into a place of where we lose our freedoms. So if you oppose or protest the government, they could freeze your accounts. That should be alarming. And this sounds like globally, right? So they've spent a lot of money putting money or building a new system that's going to take us globally. We're already kind of there, right? Like they have this tremendous reach. The United States has a tremendous reach where they can um, like they just did to the the International Court of Criminal Court, ICC, uh, where they sanctioned the judges, they sanctioned the prosecutor. Donald Trump has now moved to sanction a UN rapporteur to Gaza for speaking out against the corporations that are funding the genocide in Gaza. So it's really crazy, it's really unfortunate. And then you have the mass of the people who are in protest throughout the world. But it seems like we have no influence because they just keep doing. They just keep doing. And even AOC did this voted to send more money, even though she's trying to be this progressive. She still voted to send them more money to bomb children. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of going on. It's very unsettling. Now I'm going to show you something. So I got to fix my settings so that it shows the straight mirror my video. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Mirror my video. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of talk about start us off talking about Gaza, the updates. So we know that like what they did to us in starvation and forcing us onto reservations, that's what they're proposing. Mossad leader is coming to the United States, or he might have been here already, or is here, I mean, with a recommendation wanting the United States to sponsor and fund the relocation of the Palestinian people. And so they're saying that the Palestinian people, I mean, countries like Congo and well, I forget that fast. Anyways, that they will take these other countries in South Africa will take the Palestinian people, but the United States has to ensure financial support. So why is this the United States problem? Because Donald Trump wants to build Trump Towers and wants to build this resort system in Gaza. And so in order to do that, so this is our full complicity, right? Like we are not we, but Donald Trump and the United States government, they want that land. And so Trump, he's a real estate guy, and that's what he sees. And then all of the people that want Trump to do this, they want his brand. So they're saying, you know, we'll put your brand everywhere over here. And so it's the brand, his brand, the Trump brand, that actually makes a lot of money for Donald Trump. And so you have that happening. There's no update on a ceasefire. So there is a proposal that the United States and Israel agreed upon, and Hamas did not agree. I mean, they had a proposal too, but these guys didn't agree on their, and then they didn't agree on theirs. So they so there's no ceasefire. There's like everybody's like, oh, it's gonna happen, but then it doesn't happen. There's no ceasefire. Israel is continuing to bomb what structures are left, the tent cities, all of that. They've, I believe the count for children that have been unalived are blown up. just since the starvation began. So it's just been about 3 months, 4 months of the starvation of the Palestinian people in Gaza. Just in this time, I think it's said that there's over 600 children who have been martyred or murdered, slaughtered, massacred. I don't know. There's a lot of different words I want to use. Um, and then there's the whole, I mean, things are like changing, I think, even in Israel. It doesn't seem to be changing fast enough. But I think there's a lot of people. There's in Substack, there was a Jewish author, anthropologist, historian that has come out and said it's a genocide. He says that he was procrastinating, he was dragging his feet, he didn't want to say it, but he said it's like you have to acknowledge it now. And so there's some tide changing on what's happening in Gaza. Last week they had bombed the Catholic Church within Gaza and unalived a lot of murdered, massacred, martyred a lot of the people there praying. And so that has gotten Marjorie Taylor Greene in an uproar where she's talking about not, she's trying to cut the funding. She's speaking out now. And so right now, I think it's only her and Thomas Massie, and Thomas Massie is a Republican House of Representatives from the state of Kentucky. And so this is really a unfortunate thing. The embedded culture of the Zionists or of Zionism within Congress. That everybody, and this just tells you like how when people get elected to office, they want to be lifers there. So they're not looking for the best or the common good of the people. So they're already, once they're elected, they're looking for, their reelection campaign and then the funding for it. And so they get all their money from AIPAC. And what they do, from my understanding of AIPAC, is what they do is they will the Zionist within AIPAC personally finance the politicians. And so it's a lot of money, a lot of money. So basically land theft is the update of Gaza. We all knew this. I mean, everybody knew this, that's what it wasn't about the hostages. There's been a lot of argument about who, the value of a Palestinian life versus the value of a Zionist life. Anyway, so looking at that. And so it's really unfortunate. So I think about also being a Lakota Wia, that I often will look and see, like, I know my history so well, the colonization and all of that, that I can see it happening over there. And it's almost like I could say it's a roadmap, like this is what's going to happen next. And it's really sad because it's usually what happens next. And so it's just going to be an ongoing struggle for their land. And so right now, the United States Trump's going to agree or not agree. I mean, this is billions upon billions of dollars, American taxpayer dollars. So we can't afford nothing. We can't live in America because we have to go over and displace the Palestinian people, steal their land, destroy their livelihood, traumatize them beyond any kind of traumatization in this whole world history of mankind, just ruin them. We probably already are altering their DNA because of the extreme amount of violence that they have to undergo. Anyways, I'm mad about it. I'll be mad forever. You know what I started doing? Anytime I come across a post about Gaza, the starving babies, because now there's images of starved babies that have died now. 600 babies died, I believe. And then of them, I think 60 of those babies have starved to death. And that pisses me off. It does. It pisses me off. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Raymond. So, anyways, here's a book, if I could make it show. It's called A Journey from Misery to Hell by Mohammed Sirdah. And Mohammed Sirdah, he is he's a Palestinian. He lives in Gaza. He lives in North Gaza, and he is a pharmacist. And I wanted to share, if I can, here. Share that. Remind me in 5 minutes. Okay. So this is his book, and it's available now. So you'll see down here, I gotta hide the floating meeting thing. So down here you get the ebook and the hardcover. You can just scan the QR code. But Mohammed Sirdah is a pharmacist from Gaza. This is his first book written from inside a genocide. This book will not offer you hope, it offers truth. A Journey from Misery to Hell is not a novel, it is a witness testimony. It is the voice of a Gazan pharmacist who stayed behind when the world fled, when hope died, when the walls collapsed. Mohammed Sirdah tells his story not to entertain, but to remember, from the early days of the siege and hunger to the final breaths of his pharmacy. This book documents a genocide, one that unfolded in silence. It is written in simple English, not perfect, but real, because the purpose is not language, it is meaning. And so Sirdah wrote this book, and I didn't actually read it myself. I've participated in the live readings of it. So I listened. And I met Sirdah on TikTok. I met him on TikTok. And he is such a great guy. I have asked, and I want to bring him. I wanted to bring some of my Palestinian friends to Toksa Hour. And there's some journalists, but I have to coordinate it all because of the time difference. So let's see, it's 9:26 a.m. here, and it's evening maybe over there. Usually, this is how I used to do it on Ali Ramadan. He used to have this TikTok live. He doesn't do it anymore, but he had all the news people. So in the morning, I would get up and the sun would be going down over there. And when I was getting ready for bed, the sun would be coming up over there. And so I used to watch the sunrise over Gaza on Ali Ramadan's show. And Abu Anas, he is one of my friends over in Gaza, but he's in North Gaza, and he would be the one that would share the sunrise every morning. And it's even in all that destruction, the sunrise over Gaza is still beautiful. And then another one of my friends, he was started doing the sunset. And I missed the sunset, but like he'll have images or pictures or video of the sun setting, and it's still beautiful, even though Gaza is destroyed. So, uh, um, one of the things why this book is so important, and I'd encourage you guys, if you can order it, to do so. It's a print on demand book. But what it does is it's like us when our ancestors, when our grandparents were telling our story, our own story. Victory Day, what happened at the Battle of Little Bighorn? Our people told their story. And so here's him telling his story over there. What happened? He even talks about TikTok and the role TikTok had in his sanity. And so many of the Palestinian people depend on TikTok to get them through because of how, just to talk about something else sometimes. And like I want to talk about certain things, but I don't, um, because I was thinking about making a video or of me making fry bread. But then I was thinking my Palestinian friends are probably, because they're starving. I don't want to torture them. I don't want to be a part of the torture. So even when I'm in their lives, up on their panels, like I won't eat or drink anything when my camera's on. I won't do that. I won't talk about food. But Sirdah does on his live. He'll talk about some food and then they make joke about it. And that's one of the things that I really find um is that they have the same kind of sense of humor that we have. Like the only thing getting us through this is gonna be a joke, finding something funny or being able to laugh and acknowledging the healing powers of laughter. And so this book is his story, and when I listened as they read the story, because JBS, the TikTok dad, he did it in book club, and then on Sirdah's live, Stella read. And because of that, like I just listening and I remember these things, because not because I was there actively, but because they had told this story, or this was a news update, or whatever that came on Ali Ramadan's show. And so I remember them. And many of us that are all friends now will say that I remember, when we were reading or the reading was happening, we're like, we remember that. I remember that happened. And so it's really important that if you can, order that book. If you don't want to read it, go take it to your local library, something, to support them, because they don't have anything. And Sirdah, so his name's Mohammed Sirdah, but we just call him Sirdah. Um, he also is a part of an organization called the Soul of Palestine. And so every week we're trying to raise money to buy either baby formula or some Pampers or something for the hospitals. They try to buy firewood, they try to buy water, they try to raise money. So we work to raise money so that food, water, heat, tents, clothing, things like that can get there. And it's really unfortunate because nothing gets in, so they don't really have a market. So the market, from my understanding, that they have is either old market stuff, that somehow didn't get blown up, or um, it's the goods that are coming through the humanitarian aid that is getting. So Israel has like its own. So this is the crazy parts of it too, is Israel has its own active Palestinian people that they have disrupting any protest or anything like that. So they go and cause some havoc. And then they also turned the humanitarian aid sites into kind of like the um, Hunger Games. So there's these fences, and then they open them up, and they have to, they run through, get there, and then on their way back, they start shooting at them. And so nobody, like they tell people, don't go over there. And these people are starving. They're starving. And it's really sad. It's really sad that it's happening that way. Oh, Steve, you're funny. And we're going to just talk about that, Steve. He says, I need proof of the existence of the characters in Middle East region, actual descendants of the Bible people. Otherwise, they're wasting your time. Get ID, push it. Women, earth, food, we can survive, all shriveled up. Maybe over here, but over there, they've managed to probably contaminate their water and land now. Frustrating. So what I wanted to then transition into is talking about the DNA. So DNA studies, and I wanted to just talk about it like DNA of Native Americans, DNA of Palestinians, because we're always disenfranchised. There's this big push to like displace us from the land that you don't see that like in Europe, right? Like you people migrated here 10,000 years ago, this land isn't yours. To China, right? You people migrated over here 20,000 years ago. This isn't your land. So how come people don't do that to them? We need those kind of arguments. So if we're displaced, if you're using migration theory, if you're doing that to displace us as Native Americans, then we want to displace you as well because you're following a migration theory that says everybody comes from Africa. So nobody owns anything. We all just own Africa because that's where we came from. So that's what we should do. We should all go Africa and reclaim our land, our rights in Africa, if we're going to follow the Bering Straits theory, migration theory. So one of the things that DNA there the conversation around DNA, it can get very political and not necessarily about biology or but becomes political in the way that it tries to disenfranchise us with our sovereignty issues, rights, that. And it can be global. And we're witnessing this not only for us with DNA saying, oh, you guys crossed the Bering Strait. Oh, you guys um, weren't here And we have like our tribal creation stories and all of that. Like our creation stories even explain all of their existence, like how they're all here. And but yet, it's just kind of like this whole modern day discussion of land possession and land displacement. So the Palestinian people, their DNA says that they are from the Levant, the Canaanites. They descend from them. Um, but what happens is that they say the Palestinian people, okay, so the Zionists or the Israeli people are the true Jewish descendants of Abraham. And so they are the descendants of Jacob or Israel, because Jacob becomes Israel in the Bible. And so they make these claims because they're Jewish. They are Jewish people, but they're Jewish people from Eastern Europe. All of them are Jewish people from Eastern Europe. The Eastern Europe Jewish people fail to acknowledge that the Palestinian people are the true descendants of Abraham, possibly, right? Because they're from there. Their DNA is saying they're from there. Their DNA is giving them the most, even for all of the other Arab people in the region, the Palestinian people, their DNA is very, very strong there. So their DNA just ties them to the Canaanite, and the Canaanite people are there before even the even before Abraham came to that region. So even though there's a lot of time, thousands of years of time, the Palestinian people, even though they may have intermarried or whatever with other groups, their DNA is still the strongest. And what you'll get with Eastern European Jews, what you'll get from them is that they may have a small percentage, because when they look at the migration pattern of the Jewish people, some of them went up towards the Levant, and then then they just kind of moved outward, because that's what we do as people, human beings, we move. And so they intermarry into white people or European people. I don't know what they called them then, the Germans and the Polish, and into them anyways. But yeah, so that's how that is. It's like you get the this argument, this Bible argument. And even like Israel, there's this where Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson got into it over a Bible quote that's not even in the Bible, or what? Something about being good to Israel and Israel will be good to you, or something like that. It's not even in the Bible. Ted Cruz all like, I'm a Christian and I practice the Christian Bible or whatever, and it's not in there. And then Tucker Carlson says Genesis whatever, but that ain't it. It's like all these guys just making up their shit. It's crazy. And I think that's the process of brainwashing, that you do not even go look yourself. You just believe somebody for what they're saying. So the brainwashing occurs. And so we see it. It's evident in Ted Cruz. He's brainwashed. because he's not speaking fact. He's not speaking truth. I mean, if the Bible is the truth, he's not speaking that. And even if the Bible is untrue, he's not speaking that either, because it's not in the Bible. So it's like we have this shared, like we are two peoples on different sides of Unchimaka, and we're caught in the same struggle for our land. And you have all of these colonists, Zionists, whatever. Today it's the Zionist. In our time, it was the Christian, right? It was the church that was after us. And now it's the Zionist after them. So there's this big thing then that happens about what is truth. So we might think that truth is based off of somebody's scientific study. And I always want to tell people in research, it may be true. I mean, that's what I'm not that it may be true. Their research may have found that, but then you have to always look at where did that reason, what, like words are words. And then you have to ask, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that supports what you're saying? And evidence sometimes could be manipulated. It could be, like they want to say, that migration, the Bering Strait theory is the model. It has not been debunked yet, even though it has been debunked. They keep moving the window of time. And then you have other theories. So you'll have language theory, and then they'll say language theory is just assumptions. It's not accurate. It's just, whatever research, because the linguistics research conflicts greatly with the land theory, migration. And so you have two evidences that conflict. So what do you do? Like, what we should do is we should always have an open mind to see what it is, to see what they say. Sometimes we might agree, sometimes we might disagree. Research should be used to make good arguments. So, we should be able to have these conversations without getting all convoluted and political theater and stuff like that. One of the things that is really for us, that what we know that the Western academia will often dismiss our knowledge. And then even now, like, you have this Donald Trump is in this big push and move to and it's his group of people, MAGA. Like, they don't like to talk about theory. They don't like to talk about theory that opposes them. What they say. They don't want to talk about dispossession of land. They don't want to talk about what they did here in America. It's kind of like that thing last week when I was talking about Ann Coulter, who wants to say, oh, we didn't kill enough Indians. But then in the very same breath, that whole movement will say, oh, that wasn't us. That was before our time. We are pretty recent. We're pretty recent. We were still in wherever with our ancestors. We weren't even in America yet. That wasn't us. But then at the very same time say, we should have killed more of you guys. Yeah. And so we see that like where we have starting to become empowered, right? We're becoming empowered to be who we are, to stand in our truths. And so because of that, Trump has to come and try to dismantle things, DEI or whatever that is. DEI. Yeah, DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. He has to get rid of that. He has to get rid of the theories or go after researchers. Go after them to dismantle their research projects. Defund the academic researchers. So he's doing that. So there's a big shift that's happening because all of these, we should have killed more Indian people, don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and see who they are. And so what they have to do is try to go back to this thing of whitewashing everything and putting us all out. It's horrific. They're horrific. And so we're just in this constant struggle of trying to control our own narrative. We should be able to speak our own truths. Sirdah should be able to sell that book or to make more books. And there's another Palestinian person who has written a book. I got to get it so then I could do that as well. But telling their story, we should hear their story. And we should encourage others to do it as well. So, and now, do we dare talk about the noise? It's like all of this big important stuff going on, and then boom, boom, boom. We're stuck in the Epstein files. Trump's losing his shit over Epstein and screaming at his people, shut up, shut up and move on. He's saying there's nothing there. And AOC called him a rapist, I guess. Rapist. So he was going to sue her. He wanted to sue her. And according to the news, his people had to tell him, you can't sue her because then you're going to have to open the Epstein files because you're going to have to prove, so you're going to have to give it to her. My glasses are really, I need to get new glasses. So you're going to have to, so he can't sue her. So now he's all mad and it's all funny. It's like, what the heck? Even Elmo, did you hear? Elmo got hacked on Twitter. He got hacked. And, that he did cut Trump in his big, beautiful bill. He cut out PBS. And so Elmo got hacked by who I don't know, and he had some very controversial tweets that came out. His first one was really bad. It said, oh no, let's go from the top. It says, Elmo says, and this is they say Elmo is very anti-Semitic. So Elmo says all Jews should, I don't know because it's blocked out, blocked out Jews. I don't know what it says. Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet. I could tell it's that because he is in the Epstein files. Jews control the world and need to be exterminated. Now, that fits the anti-Semitic narrative when we blame the Jewish people for all of problems. all of the world problems. Okay, so then his other one was release the files at real Donald Trump child, and then it was Fucker Albo. And then his other was um again very anti-Semitic, where he says kill all the Jews, kill all Jews. And I don't support anything like that, but that's Almo. Almo got, and so then they had to reset Almo's password and everything because he got all hacked and so yeah, say Elmo's fire, right? And so there was all of that scandal going on with Elmo and the Epstein files. But so the MAGA people are turning on Trump over Epstein. And so Candace Owens is coming out against him. She's got her own, like, if you're not following Candace Owens, she's on YouTube. You can go over and watch. I follow her. So I watch some of the things that when I get time, I'll go watch. And she's really hitting Epstein. And she just makes it clear that she doesn't support doing harm to children. Tucker Carlson came out. He even came out at a youth organization where he says that about Epstein and even about Israel. Who does Epstein work for? Who did he work for? Was he a Mossad agent? And anyway, so all of these different things. Epstein and Trump. So that's the distraction of noise, right? Epstein and Trump. Yes, it's important. Yes, all of those things. But to me, it's always like this distraction. And if you can remember, I think back in January, I talked about the shock doctrine. And so one of the things that it's like shock and awe to us. So the things they have to give us to make us unstable, blow our minds, that. So we're over here and then they're over here dismantling or doing something. So we're not paying attention to this over here because we're focused on this. And so could it be a gimmick where Trump is ranting and raving, telling people to shut up and get over it? That he means that? Or are they all just playing a game so that everybody's over here, acting all distracted on Epstein and Trump and release the files, but everybody knows over here we're gaming the system and we're doing things so nobody's going to notice because they're all going to be paying attention over here. It could be. So Trump and Epstein are the noise. They're the noise. But we need to be on top of it and clear of it so that we are still talking about. So Toksa Hour wants to continue talking about education, sovereignty, the things that are affecting our tribal communities. And so we don't want to get lost in the Trump and Epstein stuff, the small potatoes. We want to be talking about these big issues and how they affect us. And we want to do that in a way so that we are encouraging ourselves to talk to our council people, talk to our community leaders, talk to our state leaders, talk to our national leaders, to be able to do that. So here's the catch. The media is out there shouting about trials and billionaires, and nobody is paying attention to the real work. Nobody's talking about the impacts on education, what they're doing to our sovereignty, what's the future for our people. So don't get lost in the hype. Like we need to be vigilant and continue moving. So I wanted to talk about the big, beautiful bill in tribal education. So the big, beautiful bill is the name that Donald Trump gave it. And all that it's doing is funding, addressing funding. So how does it affect tribal colleges? How does it affect tribal education? There are some positives and negatives, and we don't know. I mean, like, we're not there. We're not having that conversation. I've been trying to get people, calling them, whatever, saying, hey, you guys, because this is truth. Dusty Johnson told me, his office told me that they could care less. I mean, they didn't say it in those words, but my word, I am just a commoner. I am just a Lakota living on a reservation. I do not have voice. When it comes to Indian issues, reservation issues, they only listen to elected officials. I've called tribal council people. I've told them that, and I told them they have a responsibility to write letters, to be calling and making those contacts. Our tribal president, our tribal vice president, anybody that is elected to any position, whether it's a school board, whether it's the college board, whether it's in the community, whatever, it's your responsibility to talk to these people because they do not acknowledge our voice as common people. That is unlike the rest of South Dakota. Every voice matters, but on reservations, only your voice matters. And so it's very, very, very important that we are telling them to do this. They need to be making these contacts because our tribal colleges are going to be affected. Our schools are going to be affected. A lot of things are coming and we don't even know. I haven't heard anything coming from anyone yet about what is it? What's going to happen? And so that's something that's been bothering me. Is like, what is happening here? So let's just do real quick a rundown of some of the things that are going to be coming with the big, beautiful bill. So the key changes to student loans and college access. So starting in 2026 to 2027. So that's the academic year 26-27. Students will have to take 15 credit hours per student to receive full Pell Grant. So right now it's currently 12 credit hours, 4 classes. If you're taking 3 credit hours, a course. So 15 credit hours means you're going to take 5 classes. So that's going to be a big change in order to receive full Pell Grant. They have a Grad Plus loans, which eliminates the loan cap. So there's a loan cap for graduates. You can only borrow up to 100,000, and then professionals you can graduate or loan up to 200. Income-based repayment is simplified, but often it's just a higher monthly payment. So that's the first thing that it talks about happening with student loans and college access. So what does it do to TCU? Yeah, post-secondary funding for TCUs is going to be cut by 90%. From 183 million to 22 million. And I did a Substack article on this. You can go over there and read that if you want. So in South Dakota, in Lakota country, Dakota country, we have Oglala Lakota College, Sinte Gleshka, we have Sitting Bull College, Ihankdowan College, Laura Brew College, Sissetawan College, Sisseton Wapton College, or whatever that it's called. You have down with the Santee, you have the Little Priest in Winnebago. You have, what is it? Nebraska Indian Community College that's serving, I think, Omaha Indians, Santee, Winnebago. There's a variety of groups that are funded through them. Just in this area, that's how we're impacted. So over 160,000 Native students could lose access to culturally grounded education. Tribal advocacy is underway to restore funding and honor treaty obligations. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be advocating. So what's this on K-12 tribal and public schools? So one of the things that happened with SNAP and Medicaid, remember there's this work requirement. However, there's an exemption for Native populations. So tribal schools, well, schools in general, but tribal schools, how do you say this? So Medicaid and SNAP had this work requirement for tribal schools, though, there's a exemption. I mean, for tribes, there's an exemption for Medicaid and SNAP. So there's an exemption on the work requirement, because where are we going to work? We have no jobs, and they're just now through the big, beautiful bills sucked up all the funding. So nobody's going to have jobs. So that's all we're going to be, again, like what they're doing to the Palestinian people. We're going to be in a starving situation. We're all going to get back into starving because we can't even live off our lands because they give it all to the white ranchers. But anyways, school vouchers. So they're authorizing school vouchers in the federal programs. So states that have enacted that, South Dakota hasn't done it yet, but I'm sure they're going to move to do it to allow that. So school vouchers here, the only private, or well, we have, what is that called over there? Waldorf in Kyle, and then we have Red Cloud in Our Lady of Lourdes, private schools. So what we should be doing in regards to all of this funding, we need to be becoming active, writing letters, speaking to our school board members. We need to be talking to Oglala Sioux Tribal Council members, Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council members, and all our tribal council members throughout the state of South Dakota, or wherever you're living in the United States, and whatever reservation you're living on. You need to be talking to them. You also need to talk to your state and congressional delegates. So here in District 27, we need to be asking Red Dawn Foster, we need to be asking Liz May, and we need to be asking Puri Puyer, what's going on and what are you doing at the State House to ensure that that we're protected here on the reservation. So that's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And so even though Trump says he's going to dismantle, and the Supreme Court said you can dismantle the Department of Education, while they fired everybody, so they may not be able to dismantle it within the time frame that he wants it dismantled, because a lot of this stuff is going to go into effect, and this is the biggest thing about it too. But Democrats should not get a reprieve, and the vote blue no matter who. Like, we should still be holding them to fire. We should still be demanding these things, but the trigger effect on most of this big, beautiful bill is that it will come after the midterm. It will come into place. And then, because they know that the Republicans are going to lose the House and the Senate, So they know this is going to happen. And so they want to blame them. So after the 26, 27, all these things are going to start coming into place. And then we're going to blame the Democrats. So they'll rile up their base to say, look, it was the Democrats that did this. And so it's really important that outside of the political realm of things, as just everyday people, that we know what's going on and we understand what it is. And we need to tell the truth. We need to speak to the truth. We should not allow them to just bullshit us along. And we should be above the bullshit, right? Sorry for my language. And Toksa Hour is at PG-13 or anything. I mean, it's just, I don't even know if we're rated. We're an unrated organization over here. So, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it all in. I didn't know, but I'm going to do the thing that's been hardest for me in scheduling is just getting my lineup of topics ready. And so I've been working on it. And so each of these topics I would like to explore more. I'm going to work on getting people to come back and talk about DNA, talk about the cultural history, things like that, and kind of get into it. I want to talk about education, so I'm trying to contact some of the people within higher education, within elementary education, like that, so that we can have these kind of conversations to talk about, well, what does this mean in education, and how do we combat it? And then I want to I'm working on I just haven't heard back. I've sent out a few invitations and I haven't heard back, but I also do want to bring Mohammed Sirdah. I would like to bring the Palestinian people in Gaza to Toksa Hour, and just to elevate their voice and to bring understanding for us, so that we, it isn't always like we want to tell our story, they should tell their story. And we should be, open to that, to their story. But anyways, yeah, so everything we talked about today comes back to land, language, and our future generations, whether it's Gaza or whether it's on the plains. Our fight for dignity, they go together, they're intertwined. So we have to remember to make ourselves strong, and then we need to prepare ourselves to act. So with that, you guys, I really do appreciate you coming with me every Sunday morning live. I ask that you like the live, you subscribe, follow Toksa Hour. We're slowly growing. I think we're up to 35 subscribers. We used to be in the thousands on Facebook, so we're far from that, but we'll get there. But to share and then just be active. So I always appreciate you guys chatting it up. That's always good for the live as well, is to chat, and whether you're talking to me or to each other, and that. So good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining us as well. So I do appreciate you guys. You guys are here every Sunday, hashing it out with me. So I appreciate it, and I wish you well. You guys have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of your week. I will see you next Sunday. Probably exhausted, but I'll be here.